what happens after self-realization? Is there a world to be seen, or how can that be? And there might be some different points of view according to Advaita, classical Advaita and Bhagavan's teachings. Can you say something about this, either one of you, Michael or Swamiji?
Swamiji, you please go first.
Thank you, Michael. So yes, as far as I know and understand classical Advaita Vedanta, after enlightenment realization that you are Brahman, does the world continue? Do you still see a world? The answer seems to be yes. Enlightenment doesn't, there's a Hindi phrase which some of the monks in the Himalayas use, Jnana koi tod phod nahi karta hai. Knowledge is not something that destroys or changes things in the world. It reveals reality. So knowledge always reveals reality. It doesn't, change things, change reality. It reveals reality. So once you realize you are Brahman, do you still see the world? Direct practical answer, yes. If you look at the lives of enlightened people, Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi, Vivekananda, Ramakrishna, whoever you consider to be enlightened, they still seem to have a sense of separation between themselves and others. They can use language just as well as the rest of us. I, you, they recognize people. They know, everything that we can do in the world, they can also do, often better. So they clearly see, hear, smell, taste, touch. They remember, they think, they understand, they laugh, they enjoy. They can feel bodily sensations, including pleasure and pain, all of that. So in that sense, the world continues to appear. Yet, if you would press them that, so are you seeing the world? They might say, in common sense way, yes, why not? And if you ask really, they would say no. There is really no world. There is really no individual self. There is just that one Brahman appearing as all of this. The solution to this lies, I just add one thing here. There was a discussion in a class which I attended on Buddhism at Harvard Divinity School, and the bone of contention was, does the Buddha, the enlightened one, know everything or know nothing? Because the text seemed to say both. The Buddha is omniscient, and the entire world is an illusion, so the Buddha cannot know anything that is illusory. Buddha only knows the truth. Therefore, the Buddha doesn't know the world. So does the Buddha know everything or does the Buddha know nothing? And the professor had a term for the Buddha. He said, is it a brainstem Buddha? That means after your enlightenment, are you reduced to a comatose state where you know nothing at all? No, it's not like that. As far as I understand it, it is that you realize that one reality appearing as many. See, at our level, we seem to think that I am this person. Here, this body, mind is conscious. We don't even deny that we are conscious. But what we think is we are body, mind, and consciousness, this bundle, and this very limited bundle, and this very obvious, real, physical world out there. And everything else is separate from me. And this is reality for us. This is not how the enlightened persons see reality. They will still, if they have eyes, they will see. If they have ears, they're going to hear. If they have tongue, they will taste. But all of that, whatever they see, hear, smell, taste, touch, think, remember, forget, enjoy, suffer, all of that is just the shining forth of one reality, which they know to be themselves in their own reality. That Aham Brahmasmi shining forth as all of this. What we think of as an independent, separate world and a little independent, separate self, this they would deny in their entirety. So from this perspective, does the world appear after enlightenment? Yes and no. Does it?
Shall I also say that?
Please, yes.
Yes, I would say very much the same thing. That is one thing we have to understand with all these sort of questions and the answers given to them is very different ways of viewing these same things. When we look outwards, we see jiva muktas, jnanis, like Shankara, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, Bhagavan Ramana. In our view, they seem to be people like us. They seem to be operating in this world, answering our questions, laughing with us, crying with us, undergoing all the emotions that we undergo. They seem to be very much like us. So from that perspective, it has to be conceded, yes, the jnani sees the world. But so many of the explanations that are given from that perspective. But the jnani is a person, the jnani is a body, just like us. And then if the jnani is that body, they are certainly operating in this world just like us. They're seeing all the things we are seeing. But as Bhagavan clarified, the body and mind of the jnani exist only in the view of the jnani. Only in the view of the ajnani. So because we take ourselves to be a body, we take them to be a body, but their experience is quite different. They don't experience themselves as this body. What they are seeing is exactly the same as what we are seeing. But whereas we are seeing it as this world of multiplicity, they are seeing it as it actually is, which is ekameva dvaitiyam, one only without a second. They are seeing it as themselves. So the answer to that question, does Buddha know everything or does Buddha know nothing? The simple answer to that question is Buddha knows the only thing. In knowing the only thing, he knows everything because there's nothing else to know. Because he knows the only thing, that is, he knows what we know as all this multiplicity, he knows as the one. So the truest way to say that is, jnani is sarvagna, all-knowing, omniscient, but that all is one. That he's not seeing the multiplicity, he's seeing the oneness. Whereas we see the one as many, he sees what we see as many as one, because it is actually, he sees it as it is, because he's seeing the one as one, whereas we are seeing the one as many. This is, Bhagavan has expressed this very beautifully in verse 18 of Uludunapadu. Generally, it is well known, Bhagavan taught that the world is unreal. But in this verse, seemingly, he's saying the world is real. He says, for those who do not have knowledge, in other words, for the ajnanis, and for those who have, in other words, the jnanis, the world is real. For those who do not know, reality is to the extent of the world. For those who have known, reality pervades, devoid of form, as the adhara, as the support, as the substratum, as the ground for the world. But this is the difference between them. So that is what I was saying. The jnani is seeing exactly the same as we are seeing. He's seeing exactly what we are seeing, but he's not seeing it as we are seeing it. He is seeing it as it is, which is one only without a second. In other words, he sees the world as Brahman, we see Brahman as the world.